Yes. What is good, my people? Welcome back to Computer Music Academy's weekly homework podcast. I am your host, Tashir Rasay. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. Welcome to week 89 of the weekly homework assignment / podcast. And shout out to our man, Lord Magnus, for that intro. We'll be using that for the next couple of weeks, then moving on to something else. Speaking of that wasn't a great transition. Anyhow, what are we doing this week? Well, here's the situation. Many of you know that on top of producing, instructing, husband, father, homeowner, all that kind of crap, I'm actually a voiceover artist as well. So I do a lot of commercials and instructional videos for corporations and just all kind of crazy voiceover stuff. But I actually have this regular client of mine that I've been working with for the last, about 2.5 years. Motivational speaker, and he actually has a radio show, podcast, and he runs a website, and I do a lot of his work. He, for the last 3 years, so it's been a little over 3 years, but for the last 3 years, I've been doing the intros for his conference, where he actually has a couple of other speakers. They bring a lot of people out, put together kind of thing. But I've done the intros where I pre-record them, send it to him, and then he plays it ahead of time before the people come up. But he changed it up a little bit this year, and he had a different segment where he was actually giving away prizes. And he asked me, could I find one of two game show themes? The first one was Family Feud. When I found it, didn't work so well. The other one he told me to look for was the Price is Right theme. And once I found that, the voiceover worked out so much perfect, so perfectly. Sent that over to him, and then I was like, wait a minute. This thing is really, really dope, and we've all heard the Price is Right theme, at least in the States. And I've listened to it all of my life, literally. And I never really paid attention to how dope and how musical it was, how much stuff was actually going on in the theme. And I said, So I already had the idea to do the first sample mutilation of the year coming up. But then when this thing happened, I was like, oh, we could actually do this. So that's what we're doing. We're doing the sample mutilation. And what this is basically I give the people one sample. They can only use that sample. Now they can use other instruments around it, but they can't use stuff from other songs or any other artist or anything like that. And we've done very well with all of these sample mutilations. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be no exception. So we have 5 submissions this week. Starting off with my man, DJ Nocturnal. Let's get it in.
1, 2, 3. Play this record as frequently as possible. DJ Nocturnal. Play this record as frequently as possible.
Wow. DJ Nocturnal, my man. See, that's what it's all about. Sample mutilation. And as I always tell them in the instructions, for the new people, because there's normally new people when we do these, I always say the whole purpose of this particular exercise is to take something well known, and we all know the Price is Right theme song is well known, but take something that's well known, sample, chop, flip it, mutilate it, turn it into something completely unrecognizable. Locke did just that. And this dude, we've been having some conversations on the site, myself, Locke, and several other of the members. Every time this dude posts up new beats or he makes a new submission to the WHA, WHP, and cats are just always pointing out Locke like, dude, what the hell? Just because Locke is killing it. Locke is dedicated. Locke is focused. And something that he said in his submission when he sent it to me, he said he had a little difficulty, picking out the little parts, the chop and flip in the beginning, but then he figured it out. This is the part right here. The very last thing he said, but I ended up having fun. That is what it's all about, people. Have fun doing what you're doing. If you're not having fun doing what you're doing, you shouldn't be doing it. It's that simple. So shout out to Locke for a great submission. Loved everything about that. Of course, the drums and the actual sequences, bass lines, other instrumental elements he put on top of that. Very nice, my man. Excellent, excellent job, as usual. All right, moving on to a gentleman we haven't heard from in a couple of weeks. A few weeks, actually. But he's back. He jumped on the sample mutilation. Very interested to see what he did with this. Ladies and gentlemen, my man, JSP8. Let's go. Yo, JSP. Oh, my. Ooh, man. Way to make a comeback. Because we haven't heard from dude. Like I said, it's been a few weeks, probably just a little over a month. But man, that's how you come back. And pay close attention. It sounds like a couple parts I wasn't 100% sure, but it sounds like damn near everything came out of the sample. Chopping, flipping, mutilating, filtering, reversing, even pitched some stuff up, pitched it down. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And let's not even talk about the section around 135. Right before that, he actually just dropped everything out and had a part reverse. And normally, you know, if I wasn't looking at the wave, normally that's a part where if you weren't paying attention, you would think that that would probably be the end of the song. But then he comes back with this whole different alternative pattern that was sickening. Man. And let's keep in mind, once again, Julius has been at this for less than a year. As far as I know, from what he told me when he first came in, conversations that we've had over the last several months, he's been at this for less than a year, at least using Machine, you know, and I know that's the majority of what he uses. But listening to his submissions, especially this one, you can tell one thing. He gets it. He gets it. He understands what it takes to have your tracks or his tracks stand out from other people. I was listening to some beats over the weekend and I'm just like, I'm not impressed. You got two patterns and it's just hook, chorus. I mean, not hook, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. That's it. And it's like nothing's exciting about the programming, nothing's exciting about the drums or the sounds you used, not even the mixing. Everything is all flat and level. Julius, JSP8, gets it. You could tell listening to this track. My man, thank you for submitting that and welcome back to the fold. Hopefully you'll stay in and continue to ride this out with us, man. Whew, man. All right, moving on to Florida, Tampa. Our man, Gold 007. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about right there, man. Go 007. Man, man, man. Shout out for I think it might have been like around the 130, 140 mark where it actually kind of went into a go-go feel. And all my people in DMV know exactly what I'm talking about. DC, Maryland, Virginia. Kind of went into a little go-go, but then I realized after I heard that, because it had like the cowbell, no, maybe that wasn't the cowbell in there, but it had the percussion in there. And I realized the rest of the entire track actually had somewhat of a go-go feel, which was really dope. I love what he did with that sample. He took one of the main parts of that particular sample and kind of rolled with it. You know, normally I would be a little upset that that's all he used, even though he used more. But with what he took out of the song, he used a lot around it as far as playing a couple of elements, but mostly using dynamics, phasing, filtering, reverbs, delays, that kind of stuff. And he basically turned what could have been, let's say after a minute or so, or maybe even a little before that, he turned a pattern that a song that between 30 seconds to a minute could have gotten boring, and he did not let it be boring. Again, going back to what I said I heard over the weekend, this guy is not emailing, but tweeting at me and sending me direct messages. And man, you got to check me out. Okay. And I listen and I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm not that kind of guy, but it's like, dude, when you really are pumping yourself up like that, especially with the people that I rock with at CMA, you better bring it. This dude did not bring it. Anyhow, going back to Gold, love what he did. I especially love his fill-ins, with the pop, with the drum rolls, basically. Ta 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 ta. That's what some normal people would do. Ta 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 ta. And he did some stuff that was actually off beat, but it was still on beat. It was just unusual. I love what he did with that. I love what he did with the entire track. Again, mixed very well. Everything is hitting. I love the use of the reverb and the delay. Everything. Gold. Thank you, man. Thank you. That was really dope. All right, moving back up north to Detroit so we can close this joint out. Two gentlemen who, I don't know if it's because they're both from Detroit or they both have the same drive. I'm going to say that. They both have a pretty similar or equal level of music creation, and they just kill it every time. First and foremost, we're going to my man Sho-Nuff, and we're going to see what he did this week. Let's go. As usual, show up, show out. My man Sho-Nuff. Man, come on. Come on, Doug. Are you serious around here, Doug? Woo! Man, that was nice. Very nice. As you can see, he used mainly like the horn stabs in that joint. That's totally fine. You know, would I have liked to have seen him use or heard him use more of the track? Of course. But what he did use worked. And then of course he played other instruments around and on top of it. I especially like the drum work because he had one set of drums that was carrying the main groove and it was sounding really dope. But then it had another set of drums and drum pattern right on top of it that was a little brighter, was a little sharper, and just sat perfectly on top of the other drums and just brought it out more. Made it sound so dope. And then on top of that, the other drums were stereo. Like, go back and listen to that. The snare and that clap, those were stereo. I think the kick was too in the I'll say the higher pattern. Man, that was dope. As usual, he comes through with the drum patterns. He comes through with the sequencing on all of the instruments and whatnot. Has some vocal stabs in here. Really loved, I think it was around 120. Really loved where he had the vocoder where he was talking and you could hear the robot voice underneath. You know, that was definitely a vocoder. Love that. Love the different transitions. He had a couple of parts where he filtered it down, filtered it right back up, you know, lower and riser, so to speak. Just really, really dope as usual. Loving what Sho is doing, man. This dude has yet to disappoint, and I don't want him to. When I say that, I'm not looking for anybody to disappoint. It's more of a motivational tool like, yo, keep coming. Keep bringing it the way you've been bringing it. Please, I beg you. Sho, thank you, sir. And finally, my man, Mr. Wallace. Whew. All right, let's get it in.
So I mean, for everybody that's supporting everything that you got going on and the whole school and the personal things you got going on, what you want to let them know?
Respect the music. The music has a deeper voice than I think a lot of our kids and a lot of people understand it to be, and look towards the music to be able to help you find answers. You know, and our goal is to make music that is respectful of the standard that was set before us, right, and push the envelope. same time, just look at us as, the reason we call ourselves double negative people is because two negatives, when you multiply two negatives together, it's a positive.
Okay.
So it's about positive growth. And the reason that we added people at the end is because we feel that there's a lot more people around us that feel the way that we feel. But in the same token, as far as the school goes, it's such a blessing for me to be able to mesh that part of my life and that part of my experience, because I was doing this even when you was in my class. For me to be able to mesh that part of my life with what I also love to do every day, and that's working with young people.
Yes, Mr. Wallace. Closing out week number 89 of the weekly homework assignment / podcast. Yes. I love that. One thing I forgot to mention about Sho-Nuff, and I was reminded listening to Wallace's track, is both of them are in very cool positions because they get to deal with children. Sho-Nuff is actually a basketball coach dealing with teens and whatnot. And of course, we've talked about it before, Mr. Wallace is actually, for the lack of the actual term, I'll just say a teacher. But he actually runs a program at his high school that he teaches at, where he's teaching music production and whatnot. And did I say and whatnot? Jesus, Pete. Where he teaches musical production. Anyhow, the beginning and the end of that particular track came from an interview he did that I had an opportunity to watch. It was very cool. Within like the last 2 months that he did with one of his former students who runs a web show now. Interviewed him. It was very cool. I really enjoyed it. I think what I'll do is I'll try to link to it in the description on YouTube and on CMA. But yeah, you got a chance to really hear this dude's voice and see what he's about. And him implementing that into this track, I thought that was very cool, very dope. But again, like I said, Sho and Wallace are like running neck and neck. They're like running right next to each other. And that's really dope, in my opinion. They normally get in, towards the end of the podcast, and they bring it every single time. I have yet to hear either one of them bring a weak track to the mix. Neither one of them has done that yet, and I don't want them to. But Wallace's track, stupid. I especially loved his choice of drums this week. Those drums, oh my God. Oh, whew. Those drums really added a signature sound and depth and dynamic to this track, to the way he sequenced, to what he chopped out of the Price is Right joint and how he chopped it and played along with it, effects, fill-ins, that kind of stuff. Man, the few different patterns that he had, just overall really good. And again, mixed really well. Sound quality is on point. Everything is heard. It has its own space. That's what I'm talking about, people. Way to bring it, dude. Shout out to Mr. Wallace, Sho-Nuff, Go 007, JSP8, and DJ Lockturnal. And also, thank you, the watcher, listener, supporting everything we do, and definitely supporting the Weekly Homework Podcast every single week. If you would like to be one of us and do what we do, it's very simple. Come on over to computermusicacademy.com and join us. Bam! I'm done for the week. You enjoy the rest of your week, and we will talk to you next time. See ya!